Yo, what up guys? A few people liked last week's Q&A, so I think I'm gonna actually record one of these every Wednesday, just going over some comments that I didn't read or didn't respond to over the past week, and I'll be uploading them on Patreon and then a week later publicly. Nadia Hurstova, cool name, said, recently when I was going through the part where Val and Snow were having a conversation about the grayscale, I thought that this could be a reason why Shireen ends up on the stake in the books. Either grayscale emerges amongst the wildlings or Shireen's grayscale reactivates. Come on guys, everyone's gotta get off Shireen's back. I'm just messing with you, but I don't know. I think her grayscale has been fully cured. I think Val was wrong, and this is a very unpopular opinion, but I think Stannis is going to play a part in burning Shireen in the books. I know that they're not together right now, but personally, I feel like it is a satisfying ending in the sense that it's really tragic. It just shows how brainwashed Stannis became under Melisandre. So I don't like it. Like, I love Stannis, and I don't like that he did that, but from a storytelling perspective, I do like that he did that. It's just really sad. Yo, my friend Justin Hooten, he said more videos like he was responding to QA last week, and let me know when I can ask a question here. Dude, just ask it whatever, man. Whenever I see your name, I'll respond. I'll put you in the next one. Uruk NG Jellyfish Sassy has the coolest screen name ever. It says, do you think Arya will be Azor Ahai by killing Melisandre, the Lord of Light priestess?
He wants to join the Brotherhood! Stop them!
We serve the Lord of Light. And the Lord of Light needs this boy.
Did the Lord of Light tell you that, or did she?
Eyes you'll shut forever. We will meet again.
That's really interesting. I personally believe that like Lightbringer is a metaphor. I think many people can serve as Lightbringer to different forms of darkness. When we talk about the biggest plot, the Night King, we're talking about Jon being Lightbringer, implying that Rhaegar was Azor Ahai. You know, Rhaegar stuck a sword into his Nissa, and that's not that much of a stretch. In one of Theon's chapters, I think it's Lady Dustin, speaks about Brandon Stark, meaning Ned's brother, Ned's older brother Brandon, loving his bloody sword. She was referring to his private part. So I do think that Rhaegar plunged his sword into Nissa and created a fiery sword. You know, like Syrio says that to Arya.
Boy, girl, you are a sword.
Jon is a sword, and he is Lightbringer. I don't think he's Lightbringer in the sense that he's going to be killing Night King per se, because I think that we're not looking enough at the Red Priest, R'hllor. That whole religion's got to go too. But he's a song of ice and fire, so I think that there will be a lot of death, but there's also going to be some forgiveness and some changes, some teamwork going forward. That's the only way to really break the wheel, is to do things differently than they were done in the past. You don't really solve anything by warring. I mean, warring just eventually leads to future wars down the road when your unless you kill everyone, but your ancestors get pissed off and use that as a reason to war themselves. Your descendants, not ancestors. Officially Gaming says, why in the flashback when Night King was created was there no snow? That flashback shows the same pointed mountain as Sandor sees beyond the wall. Whoa, does it? Even though it may have been summer when he was created, that area beyond the wall is usually covered in snow pretty much all the time. Can the Night King change the seasons? Well, first off, I'm going to have to go watch that scene. If it has that same mountain peak, then that really gives us a location. Then it's north of the wall. But I've always assumed that he was converted at the God's Eye. And that's probably one of the reasons why the Night King's headed south. Because you've got people like, you know, the Red Priests. They're so crappy. They're coming over. Melisandre's already burned weirwood trees and whatnot. And I think some like Kinvara and the Fiery Hand might be coming over as well. And they're going to try to burn all the weirwood groves, which potentially could kill the Night King. So he's got to come down and defend his land. Otherwise, his future's done. But thank you for pointing out I think it's called an Arrowhead Mountain. If that's true, that actually gives us location. That's pretty cool. Thanks. Nettles Fire Witch has a really good comment. It's pretty long. I'm going to go to the third section of it. One thing I noticed about the show is that the Night King has never found Bran in the past. He has only caught him in the present. Do you think the ability to go to the past belongs to weirwood.net and not a power of the Night Kings? To be honest, I'm not sure about that, because the vision where he touched Bran was very snowy. I know it has an army, so it seems like it's in the present. But where would that have been? Was that at a tree up north, like even further up north? I always assumed that tree there was where he was created, and I thought that was the God's Eye. So that would effectively be him touching Bran either in the future or more likely in the past. Actually, no, it would have to be the future, unless he can bring the dead bodies with him to the astral realm. Yeah, I guess that's a possibility. But I don't think that he's limited to just the present. I'm going to have to think about that, thanks. And last, do you think the Night King saw the meeting in the Dragon Pit through the bony white? The bony white. The white really seemed to run at Cersei, almost like he really hates royalty. Do you think the white wanted to take out Cersei, not because he knows her, but what she represents? That's pretty interesting. the whites are very intriguing. Like when that one white is first caught, first of all, it's weird that he wasn't attached to the one white walker. So yeah, it does seem like they sort of have a fallback plan. They don't just bring out people attached to the white walker in case he's killed. They have one from another white walker so that it would be like eyes for the Night King. So yeah, I do think that he saw what happened down at the Dragon Pit. But what's also interesting is that when he was first surrounded by them before they captured him, the dude looked really worried. He had like a worried look on his face. So now I'm starting to wonder if, I mean, I don't know, the whites are pretty evil and they do seem like zombies, mindless zombies. But I start to wonder sometimes if they do have at least part of a soul, like a very small residual soul, because he seemed pretty scared. And on top of that, when Sandor threw a rock and hit that one in the head, I'm pretty sure everyone in the circle, like, they were pissed. Like, you're throwing a rock at their buddy. So that's something we should keep in our minds, is that they might not be as just completely dead as we think they are. Maybe they're just like souls that are trapped and they're enslaved to the Night King. Linda W. said, you mentioned in the last QA video that the Night King might be named Jon Snow, fighting his brother Bran Stark. If the Night King's name was Jon Snow, do you think that's why the wildling said that Jon Snow was an evil name? That only happens in the books, and yes, I have sort of 4 main reasons as to why I think his name was Jon Snow. That's in a video that'll probably be released like tomorrow whenever I upload this one. But that's one of the main reasons, is that Ygritte literally flinches when he says the name. So I think the Night King's name was Jon Snow. Quantum Tap asks, so if the Night King is the last hero, and maybe Bran, but probably not, is he looking to be healed or is he back for revenge? Because if he wants to be healed, then why is he doing it this way, killing hundreds of thousands of humans just to go south? Yeah, I definitely don't think he wants to be healed, and I don't think that they're going to be able to talk to him and then heal him. I think he's going south because the Red Priest are coming over and burning the weirwoods, and without them, I think he would die. So as far as healing, I think that someone like Jon Snow, they're going to find out they can't kill him with Valyrian steel. They're going to have to use different colored dragon glass to heal him. He'll probably end up dying shortly thereafter, and he may even like say thank you. For all we know, the black dragon glass may sort of have like an evil spell to it, like it brings out the vengeful side of you or something like that. I'm probably way off though. I'm just being corny. Oh, this is a good one. I actually meant to say this when I was talking about the House of the Undying Visions. So Dolphig71 says, question, recall the prophecy Daenerys receives. 3 fires you must light, 1 for life, 1 for death, 1 to love. 3 mounts you must ride, 1 to bed, 1 to dread, 1 to love. 3 treasons you will know, 1's for blood, 1's for gold, and 1's for love. So far the show has revealed the answers except treason for love. Who do you think will betray her? I'm actually, as of only like 2 days ago, because I was starting to think about Tyrion betraying her, I didn't really buy that. I do think Varys will betray her, but it gets really interesting. There could be a lot of people that betray her in a sense, and it could be more figurative in the sense of like Viserion killing Drogon or something like that. This is something I'm going to be re-looking at very soon, because I do think finally that she's going to be betrayed by someone, either for her because she's going mad. Yeah, I think she might go freaking mad. I think she's adopting all of Drogon's personality, and she's becoming way, way too aggressive.
I offer you a choice. Bend the knee and join me, or refuse and die.
I don't know though, because I do kind of want to see. I think she's gonna end up dying. They stab her with dragon glass, and then this is as of like 15 minutes ago. Her and Jon will be the Night King and Night Queen. I'm insane. I don't know why anyone's watching these videos. Rude Bolts asks, do you think Jon had a part of his soul warged into Ghost, and this part of his soul returned to his body while Ghost was still there besides Jon in the chamber? Yes and no. In the books, they have that prologue to A Dance with Dragons. It's Varamir Sixskins, and it talks about living a second life. I do think that Jon's resurrection in the books will absolutely be both a song of ice and fire, in terms of using like ice magic, the warging, if you can call that ice magic, and then fire, some sort of fire resurrection to, animate his body and then bring that soul back to it. As far as the show, I don't think so. I think it's more vanilla. I think he's been raised as like a fire wight, so to say. The interesting part though is that I don't know if this will happen in the books, but I think that he's going to be raised a second time. I don't want to expand on this because I'm making a pretty cool video about like Jon and his fight against the Night King, and it's going to have several parts to it, but one of those parts is that Jon's going to die, and he's going to have to be raised as with dragonglass, kind of saved like a Benjen in a sense. But going back to your question, in the show, no. I mean, Jon Snow is not really a warg in the show. He has a bond to Ghost, but he doesn't have any of like the ghost dreams and stuff like that, at least not that I can recall. Bran CR203 said, Bran is not definitely the Night's King, but his consciousness that is stuck in the past when he warged into the guy back in time and warns the children. So here's my biggest problem with the Bran is the Night's King thing, meaning not that he's the same guy, but that his consciousness is in him. So we're in a closed loop, and Bran hasn't done it yet. But, maybe in season, 8, But maybe in season 8, they get into a really sticky situation. Like, they try to kill him with Valyrian steel and it doesn't work. So then Bran tries to, like, warg into him. So this is in the future. Then Bran, like, wargs him in the past to try to prevent it from happening. That would mean that we're in a closed loop. So that would mean that even right now, prior to Bran warging into him, so Bran's inside of him. Bran's been inside of him for 8,000 years. And clearly, the Night King is winning that battle. Because you can have 2 souls inside of you at the same time. And then one is just more powerful. Like, Varamir's in it with different animals. He overpowers them. And right before he dies, he goes into Thistle. And the Thistle's in there too. She eventually, like, scratches out her own eyes. And then he backs out of her body. But if Bran's been in the Night King for 8,000 years... I think the word, what is it, like deus ex machina or something like that? Like, if Bran's been in there for 8,000 years and hasn't been able to stop the Night King, and all of a sudden, in like one scene, he just suddenly gains the power to overpower the Night King, that'd be pretty cheesy, I think. So, I don't know. Bran being inside the Night King doesn't really make sense to me. Not at all. At least not in terms of him going back there to prevent it from happening. Oh, let me take a step back. I do think that Bran might try something like that. I don't think it's going to lead to anything good, though. It makes sense for him to try something like that, but really then it's just like he's stuck in there and he dies because, like, he might go comatose in real life in the future, and they eventually realize that he's trapped in there, so they end up just killing him or something like that. But I don't think it's going to do any good.